Hey, clients sometimes throw curveballs. Um, Unexpectedly, the client reacts. Uh, so this could happen in lots of different ways. Maybe they are just more emotional than you thought. They are more depressed or more sad than you were expecting. More angry. Maybe they start yelling at you. Maybe they start trying to argue or pick a fight with you. Maybe they just have something like really challenging that throws you that throws you off, or it just seems very difficult. Um, Maybe they have some criticism for you, or maybe they write you an email, or with a lot of problems they have with you, something like that. Um, Maybe they just want to go in a different direction, or they want to stop coaching, or there's so many different kinds of curveballs. But this is going to be about I've come up with seven different kind of ways that you might be able to hit a client's curveball. One is, if you don't have to answer questions. If they ask you a question, you don't have to answer it. That's not you're not obligated. So there might be many situations where they ask you something that throws you off, and you don't know the answer, or that's not your specialty, or that's distraction. You don't have to answer it. You could reply with another question. Next, you can have silence. You don't have to respond at all. You can delay a response. You can have an awkward silent moment, but that's not awkward for you. You can let conversations breathe. You can just wait for them to solve their own problem. So that's another option. Three, you can brainstorm anything. Brainstorming is always an option, no matter what kind of challenge or problem or dream or issue comes up. You could have a good old-fashioned brainstorming session. You could play this game that sometimes I like to play, where they think of something and I think of something. We go back and forth. We don't have to say amazing answers. We don't have to come up with the best ones right away. We can create some energy and momentum, and maybe it's our 20th idea that is the solution. So that's another thing, is at any point a brainstorming session could happen. Another thing, this one's kind of a big one. Remember principles. You can improvise if you have principles. You can dance with anything if you just I'm going to apply my principle. So what's a principle? A principle might be, don't make a client wrong. Don't make a person wrong. I'm not going to argue with them. I'm not going to contradict them. That's my principle. So no matter what happens, I'm not going to make them feel like they're wrong. Another principle is know that all is well. So if you kind of come from that place of everything is okay, everything will be okay, everything will be okay 10 years from now, and so there's not that much importance on how I respond or how I don't respond. I don't have to make too much of a big deal of this in the long run. All is well. It's another principle. Another principle is, this is supposed to be fun. If you're really supposed to have fun, then you can relax and chill out and breathe yourself. So then you can come from this place of well, I don't know what I'm going to say or do, but I'm going to have fun. So I could be a little more spontaneous. I could be a little more mischievous. Which is playful. Next, you can always tell them how you see things. You can always offer an alternative perspective. You can say, I have another way of looking at it. I would like to tell you the way I see things. Is that okay? That's always a move. You don't always have to ask questions. You could just be like, I do have an opinion. But it would never contradict that making them wrong. It's just another way of looking at it. Next, you can get creative. You can, talking about being playful or mischievous, you could do all kinds of things. Like, if this is a coaching session, you're like, we're going to take a break. We're going to take a dance break. We're going to take an improv comedy break. You know what? Maybe we should shake things up and want to play an improv game. You can spend time with them. You can spend more time than normal. You can make a coaching session last longer. You know, like, hey, since this thing came up, maybe we, if you don't have to go anywhere and I don't have to go anywhere, maybe we can just talk this out longer. Maybe we can spend more time on this. You could also delay this for another time. You're like, you know what? Why don't we cut this short? Or like, why don't we pick this up, you know, a week from now or tomorrow morning? Like, why don't we sleep on it? That's another creative way. You could, you know, role play something. Maybe the curveball that the client throws, it's you're like, you know, like, we need to just get in it. I'll be, you know, this person and you be you, or I be you and you be that person, and like, let's just see what happens if we role play it out. Another thing, and then the number 7 thing of like how to hit a client's curveball is to turn all negatives into a positive. Turn anything negative into a positive. Like, really look at how this is good, how this could be a positive for me, for them, for the world, for our families. You know, really take that alternative point of view yourself. You know, like, I'm gonna just shift and I'm gonna see. I was initially thought this was a bad thing, this was a challenging thing, this was a stressful thing, but I'm gonna shift over here and I'm gonna look at how, like, you know, maybe this makes us stronger. Maybe this enhances our life. Maybe this is something to lean into instead of run away from. Maybe this isn't an opportunity to fight, but maybe this is an opportunity to be open and curious. Maybe this is an opportunity to listen. So anything, in my experience, that you think is negative is also positive. And you can find that perspective. All right, those are the 7 ways to hit a client's curveball. If you have any questions or you have another way of hitting a curveball, put it in the comments. All right.